Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Joining us right now, he was there live, in person, and CM Punk actually ran over and gave him a big-ass fucking hug. Frank the Clown joining us. We're going to talk about that whole thing. What's up, man?
I'm doing well. How's everything with you guys?
How about that introduction?
No, I'll take it. Sometimes I get lackluster introductions, but anytime you can include big fucking hug in the introduction,
Yeah.
I'm all game for it.
Yeah. I know this might sound like a retort. I don't know. How was it?
Yeah. It's just your usual Friday night. That's all. Nothing special went on. No. Yeah, it was great. I'm from Chicago, and there's a lot of history in wrestling here, as obviously and
yeah, man.
Especially with Punk specifically, and it's something where the big moment in Chicago in the past was the Money in the Bank pay-per-view with him and Cena. That's that moment that's kind of looked upon, and really it lives up to this day in terms of crowd reaction and how special it was. But this was different in a sense. It was like a 7.5 year buildup, and it was still a surprise to some people. Most everybody knew he was going to be there, but his name was never actually uttered on television. So the casual fan might not actually know any better. But in terms of the raw hometown emotion, I had never felt anything like it, even compared to that Money in the Bank. I was there for that one too. It was just 15,000 and change people that were all in unison, so happy and so thrilled to be there.
It's like you said, Frank. The Money in the Bank thing was incredibly special. It was huge. I remember watching it.
Yeah,
I remember going out of my way to see that actually. But yeah, man, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? That old saying. And they missed the fuck out of him around there, huh?
I missed him. Yeah, I mean, it's just he's our guy in the city. Yeah. It's always been that way. He's a blue collar wrestler, for the fans, and he's our guy. A guy that wasn't supposed to probably make it to the level that he did, and kind of overcame all these obstacles. So that really resonates with a hardworking city like Chicago. So, and it comes off because you could tell how much it overwhelmed him, and the crowd was overwhelmed, and there's people crying. I'm not ashamed to say I was emotional. I didn't necessarily get shown on television like the one guy in the crowd, who, by the way, is awesome because
fuck you. If you're making fun of that guy, go fuck yourself. Seriously.
For real. Yeah, go to hell. Because that's what wrestling's all about, right? Is drawing emotion out of people. One for better or for worse. Yeah. And for that moment, for somebody to walk down a ramp, not say a word yet, and for a guy to be crying his eyes out, hysterically crying his eyes out. I mean, that's a very, very select group of individuals that are able to draw that out of someone.
So here's my question. All right. Frank, did Punk get you those tickets where you would be right on the corner there? I'm not saying he told you he was going to debut, but he was like, hey, or were you like, Punk, I don't know, can you hook me up with some Rampage tickets? How did you wind up there?
No. I had a little interactions with him before, in the weeks leading up to the show, but I knew nothing. If anything, I was led astray thinking something else was going to happen. But I was in the mindset of I'm not bothering this guy. He's getting bombarded left and right. I'm leaving it alone. So the tickets did not come from him. I had obtained the tickets by my own means, we'll say. And all right. So really it was one of those things where I was in the right place, right time, right there being by the steps, So he did not know ahead of time that I was going to be there. I didn't know he was going to embrace me. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen at all. So it all happened very quickly, but it was a special moment.
Hey, wow. So why you? Why is he for those that don't know, why give you a hug?
Yeah. I have a good relationship with him dating back, honestly, over a decade now. Punk's my hero. I've been on documented. I've been on record saying that many, many times. He's been a big part of my life in terms of who I am and kind of as a person and lifestyle choices and et cetera. But he's always been my guy. And he's the one that's kind of kept me, hooked on wrestling, has inspired me kind of to get into business myself. And I take after him in terms of how I deliver promos and how I talk and et cetera. So, we've developed a good relationship beyond just kind of a fan and a performer. That's kind of where it started. But I was going to so many WWE shows 10, 12 years ago that I was just always there. I was seeing him and other talent more than I was seeing my own family at points. So basically I was just around all the time, and through that just developed a really strong relationship. And I like to think I'm not too much of a weirdo, although I'm wearing clown wig and a sparkly sequin jacket in my own home right now.
Sure.
But yeah, through that, I think we just have a lot of common interests. We share kind of a bond with each other. So to be able to have that moment, I think it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. I hope and think it meant a lot to him. But it was super special. And again, it's something that I didn't expect it. And it totally, the whole night itself exceeded my expectations.
I mean, I remember like seeing it, but I was like, you didn't have the wig on. So I didn't really realize it was you.
I know.
And and then like he just fucking dove into like just fucking stage dived up into the crowd too, right? Like,
yeah,
just feeling it, man.
Scrambling. Yeah, that's the thing. It's organic. It's real, right? Like you watch, and this is not a knock on WWE stuff, but like a lot of their entrances and stuff are very robotic. The same thing, the same cues, week in and week out, and it's like I get it. That's the thing. It looks good in video games, and it's just like repetition is the father of learning, where they keep doing the same things. But that entrance with Punk, it's real. Nobody's stage diving in WWE. It would be a huge deal if somebody actually went out and did that. They'd probably get in trouble. So just to have, you could tell in his eyes how real it was.
Half the fucking guys, they probably wouldn't even catch him.
Right. Yeah. They would just all part like Moses. The sea would just spread. Yeah.
Okay, so Frank, that was a really big moment when you hugged Punk. But you had two big moments in one night, because that happened, and then WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley took to Twitter and said something along the lines of like, CM Punk just hugged my future son-in-law on national television, and that's the nicest thing I've ever heard Mick say about you. He basically welcomed you into the Foley family because of that hug. What was that like to have Mick tweet that out about you?
So what's funny was I didn't even see the tweet until the next morning, because my Twitter was kind of blowing up, and Noelle texted me and she's like, "Did you see my dad's tweet?" And I said, "No." And I went and looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And like you said, he hasn't been necessarily publicly complimentary of me too many times. You've done a lot of interviews with him where you've gotten more out of him recently.
I have.
Honestly, it's a reflection of real life as well. I wouldn't say we had the best relationship early on, and moving forward, it's been going on 7-8 years now. I feel like me and good old Cactus are turning into besties. So, but yeah, that was super cool. I don't know if that's some sort of blessing, so to speak, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it was cool to see.
It was definitely a blessing, man. It was definitely if you haven't seen it, by the way, go find Frank and Mick from Warrior Wrestling, the greatest beating of a boyfriend ever. Yeah,
and I'll tell you this too. There's one other time he's referred to me as a son-in-law, and it was actually that night at Warrior Wrestling. He had introduced me to, I don't even remember who it was, but he introduced me as a son-in-law, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And that was about 2 years ago now. So that night in itself might have been a night where things had taken another step in terms of maybe winning over the old man.
Hey man, are you straight edge?
I am straight edge.
I figured as much with the fucking wig like that and the whole clown thing. That's the kind of shit straight edge people do in lieu of getting fucked up on drugs.
Right. I have my vices, don't get me wrong, but my vices tend to be dressing up as a cartoon character, so to speak. And, I like to dabble in gambling in the stock market. So I have my vices. Yeah, I know for sure. But I mean, it makes sense as to why, Mick would be a little bit more open to maybe you being with his daughter than say, somebody else in fucking industry. And that's the thing too, going back is like early on, it's like, he'd rather her be with me rather than, let's say, a Dolph Ziggler or something like that. No disrespect to Dolph Ziggler.
No, but
you get it. Sure. Yeah.